Now, place yourself in a comfortable position.
Episode 13 of Sevenish Things. I'm the wizard. No, I'm the warrior.
Yeah, you are no wizard, sir. I am Ryan's future granddaddy. Hey, Grandma, what's up, girl?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? So, what's going on, man? How you doing this week?
Good. I set the high score on the pinball machine. I'm slowly taking over all the records. I mean, let's be real.
This was a previously owned pinball machine that someone else set a bunch of record on?
No, this is factory.
So you own all the records.
Yeah.
Every time you play, it's a high score.
Right. They're like, who's that? Who's Mad Max? Who's Mad Max on there, right?
I used to play this game when I would go shoot hoops with myself. So I'd play tip in 21 against myself, and I would kind of keep track in my head. I'd pick two professional players like
Jordan and Bird.
Chris Mullen. No, I'm a Warriors fan, man. Chris Mullen and Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
And I'd start off with Chris Mullen, and then if he missed the shot, that means Tim Hardaway got the rebound, and then I'd put up another shot. I'd have to clear the ball. I just play myself one-on-one. Nice little workout. I used to do that all the time. Is that what you're doing? When you achieve a new high score, do you think to yourself, that might not have been Ryan Burns. That might have been whatever your G.I. Joe name is?
Yeah, I'm like, that's definitely Snake Eyes. Just got
that's somebody else's G.I. Joe name. What's your code name? What's on your cardboard code card? You know what I'm talking about.
Glock.
Every figure came with the little card.
Mine would be codename Glock.
Glock?
Yeah.
Your Glock.
Mm-hmm.
Like the gun manufacturer?
Yeah.
So you want Duke to yell, "Get Glock in here."
Yeah, because I'm gonna fuck shit up. Are you making me a G.I. Joe card right now?
No, I should. I should make you. That should be. God, that's our next T-shirt, homie.
There we go.
G.I. Joe card, your picture, codename Glock.
And like it says, like on the back, it says special move, uppercut. But it's like everyone's like, "Hey man, doesn't everyone have guns?" It's like, yeah.
Like you mean the guy named Glock doesn't actually carry a Glock. He just carries.
No, he just
a
packs
bag
that
full of
because he's
uppercuts.
always packing that heat, man. You never see me punch that punching machine, man. I've maxed that shit out.
You Francis Ngannou'd that machine out.
I wish. After fucking hit it so hard, the building shifts 6 inches to the left. It's like, whoa, sorry guys.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that's the first time I ever saw that machine was in Rocky IV, where they got Ivan Drago slamming that thing.
Yep.
And this is actually one of the topics that I wrote down to talk about today. This is something I wanted to bring up to you, is that one of the kids in my house was watching his way through the Rocky series.
Well, first of all, that's going to be his favorite series. Well, that was always our favorite series when we were growing up. I'm sure I'm speaking for you. Because that came out like right in the prime time and it fit in with those 80s action movies that we were looking for, right? Trying to quantify. But if you go back to the series, number 1 is the best, which is a love story.
Well, yeah, it's an incredible movie. It won Best Picture. But in fact, you're so right on there that when I went and saw Rocky Balboa, Rocky 6, which came out in 2005 or 2006, I went and saw it in the theater as a grown-up.
Yeah.
And when the Rocky music kicked, first of all, it was a fucking sellout. And when the Rocky music kicked on, everybody in the theater cheered.
Right.
That's how excited people were about Rocky
Rocky's
when we were
dope as
growing
shit,
up.
man.
Yeah, and exciting. So he's watching his way through Rocky, and I'm cruising through the room as I'm doing shit usually, watching him watch it to try to get his reaction about how engaged he is with these films. And he really liked Rocky 1 and 2 because those are kind of a complete package, right? You get Rocky versus Apollo in the first one.
Now hold on, I want to say something real quick. Now, had we been born 10 years earlier, or maybe not 10 years, maybe 5 or 6 years earlier, 3 would have been our favorite.
Probably, maybe.
Right.
You're not wrong about that, I don't think. So, but Rocky 1 and 2 as a package, as a bookending movie, those two are great. Because you get Rocky versus Apollo. Spoiler alert: Rocky loses in the first movie, and then he comes back in the second movie and dramatically wins. Okay, those are a nice little left and right to a bookend. Then the series gets a little different. Then you go Rocky 3 and you bring in Clubber Lang, and Apollo becomes his friend, etc. And then you get to Rocky 4, and this is where it gets interesting to me, because I was watching this movie again, and I sat down, and it's got Bridget Nielsen and the Russia thing, and it's all Cold War-y and whatnot. And then I started to really think about it, and I got a premise for you, and I want to see how you feel about this. But thinking about it now, Ivan Drago, he ain't shit. He is a shit fighter. He comes here from Russia.
I know why.
Well, let me finish. He comes here from Russia. We don't know who he fought in Russia, if anybody. He's juiced up. The first fight he has in the United States is against Apollo. He's been retired for 5 years, ex-champion. He kills Apollo. Okay, that's pretty badass. So he beat up an old guy way past his prime. Clearly and still in good shape. Apollo was in crazy good shape. But he hadn't had a fight.
One of the best entrances ever.
Yeah, for sure. James Brown, living in America, fantastic.
Badass.
Whoops, Apollo's ass. Okay.
No, Apollo
That's
did a
scary.
good job at the first round. Was kind of dancing with him a little bit, and then he caught him. Once he caught him once, since he's older, he couldn't take the power anymore.
He couldn't take the power anymore. And then, for his second fight against a Westerner, he fights Rocky Balboa, who's 53-24 at the time.
Super
who's taken
salty record.
Pile of losses. Got his ass whooped a billion times. Fights Rocky Balboa in Russia, friendly home crowd, loses the fight. So he is 1-1 against fighters at the tail, Western fighters at the tail end of their career. Vladimir Klitschko, Ivan Drago is not. He is not. He ain't shit.
So I'm gonna agree with you that Drago isn't shit, because when we learned in Rocky 3 is that Mickey had been sheltering Rocky, and they'd been taking the chump fights and fighting all these paper fighters.
You're a paper champ,
had his record because he wasn't ready. He could take an ass whooping, and he would basically do the same thing as Homer Simpson, is just let them punch themselves to death, and then he just push them over, basically. But I mean, he has no defense. The dude gets hit way more than he hits them, And then when he fought Apollo was over the hill. Then he was done with his career. That was the end of his career, was when he was fighting Rocky.
Yeah.
And so then he fights Mr. T, gets his ass whooped. Spoiler alert. Comes back and he wins, takes the title back. He didn't want Mr. T to show his woman what a real man's like.
I bet you stay up every night dreaming you are a real man, don't you?
And so he beats Mr. T, who's an okay fighter. But I mean, he wasn't like, this unstoppable force. And then Drago, right? What's the Russian boxing scene look like?
We don't know.
Right? It's not like American. It'd be like, the Russian golf scene. It's like, huh? It's not even close to the American scene. So basically, Ivan Drago's getting all this training. He's taking all this juice. He's got the best training in the world. And Rocky
juice to the tits.
Juice to the
juice
tits.
Yeah.
And then Rocky's trying to do his training stuff, and he's got all the publicity and all the movie stuff, and that was kind of a spin on Tyson is what that was from, because that's what's kind of screwed him all up, was all that, not really training hard.
You don't think it was the raping?
Maybe.
The prison sentence and the raping?
Sure. I'm not sure.
All right.
So anyways, and then, basically he had to go back to his roots and train like old school and then win the fight. But dude, let's be real, man. He was fighting a trash-ass fighter. He's fighting some just young guy that was just on steroids. It's literally the same fight as Mr. T.
Yeah.
It was just
Ivan Drago is a trash fighter who's juiced to the tits. He's got good conditioning because he still goes 12, and yet Rocky still outlasts him.
Right.
That's the crazy thing.
So then Rocky's 20 years removed from his career, and then we'll skip 5 because that one's trash.
Yeah. And then he fights Mason the Line Dixon in Rocky 6.
Who shows up looking like the Great White Hype with a belly.
Yeah, he shows up out of shape, takes it seriously. You hit me, I'm gonna get you out of there. Yeah. And Stallone shows up looking like a fucking tank, man.
Yeah,
he looked like a tank. He was thick. THICC thick.
Right, but then that was his only thing. His only route to success was the power punch. He was taking a beating.
Well, that's what they said.
Getting close. Yeah.
So
but that's always been his. I mean, that wasn't anything new.
No, he's got bricks in his gloves, right? Or that's what he said. This man is made of iron, or whatever Drago said.
This man is piece of iron.
A piece of iron, yeah. But so my underlying point, and I'm glad you agree with me, is that in retrospect, Drago wasn't shit. He wasn't very good, and so with Creed 2 coming out in a year or so, the sequel to Creed, apparently they're bringing Ivan Drago back as a character. I don't know if it's his son or something like that. But
It's his son.
Yeah, Ivan and Rocky are going to have a moment together where they hash it out. Theoretically about, sorry I killed your buddy. But
lame.
If he dies,
so they
he dies.
they should have made Sage Northcutt in the movie because he can fight. He looks the part. I cannot fucking believe they did not cast him for Ivan Drago's son.
Well, I don't know who they did cast as Ivan Drago's son. Do you know who they cast?
No.
Neither do I.
But I will tell you this: the guy, the bomber, Brown. Was it the Brown bomber? The guy who was in Creed 1, the first one that he beat at the very end.
Yeah.
No, he lost.
Beat him?
No, he lost.
He lost.
But he was
Vitor Drago, played by Florian Montaigne, who looks like a fucking animal.
All right,
That
hold
dude.
on. So this is where I'm going with this. So this dude, right? Tony Bello. So Tony Bello was pretty Ricky Cullen at the very end. He's the guy who he fought in the first Creed, and he just knocked out David Hay like a week ago. He's like a legit heavyweight fighter.
David Hay took his lunch money.
No, like Tony took David Hay's lunch money, knocked his dick in the dirt.
I like the redemption story better. I like it when you knock the bully down. That David Hay took his lunch money. Do you get what I'm saying? I had it right the first time. I wasn't saying that he was the bully. I was saying that he stood up to the bully and beat the shit out of him. I liked my metaphor.
Okay.
I think this is indicative of our two different personality types.
How fucking big is this motherfucker?
He's big, dude. Florian Montaigne. He's only been in two things. He's been in Creed 2, which is filming right now, in a movie called Bogat, where he played a character named Razvan.
He's 6'4", 235 to 245.
Yeah, Yeah, he's a big fella.
That's a big guy.
He's a big hunk of meat.
He's bodied up, man. I doubt he's in the plastic bottle gang. How big is Michael B. Jordan? He's probably like 160.
No, he's a big dude. Michael B. Jordan's a big dude.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He's 6 foot tall. This dude maybe like 180.
You think he's 180? He's pretty yoked, dude. Actually, he's 5'11 and a half.
Okay, well, he's built at 6 foot. This dude ain't no. That guy's 6'4", 245. You know that. He's beating he'll whoop the fur off this guy.
Yeah, how come? I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about the heavyweight division in UFC and boxing, for that matter. It's 206. You weigh 206. Theoretically, you're a heavyweight, right? Mm-hmm. The top of that weight class is 265. 265, yep. You're still a heavyweight. You could have a fight, and this is kind of the DC Stipe fight, because DC is 220, right? He's a 205 champ. He's going to come into that fight heavy, 220, and Stipe's light in the heavyweight division considerably compared to some,
or not Stipe,
245.
But, DC's every bit as big as Stipe. Don't forget, he won the Strikeforce Grand Prix.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, DC fights at 205. He's going to come into that fight probably 220.
He fucking ragdolled Josh Barnett.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not strong.
Me?
I'm just pointing out that Stipe is going to come into that fight at 245. DC at 220 against a Brock Lesnar at 265. That's a lot of weight difference. Now, I think that fight, watching Brock Lesnar have to go at it in a wrestling match against DC, would be very interesting, because they're both world-class wrestlers, except Brock weighs 45 pounds more.
Brock is more than 265.
Well, yeah, he cuts weight to 265.
Brock is close to probably 3. He's probably 285.
Well, right now it looks like a little bit of a little belly pig on him. He looks like a little pot-belly pig.
Well, because he's in the USADA pool. He's not gonna have a dad bod. I like how you type in Michael B. Jordan. If you type in Michael B. Jordan into Google right now, one of the stories that pops up 21 hours ago, Michael B. Jordan's reaction to Tiffany Haddish claiming she won't shave her vagina. Why the fuck would that show up in anything? Any respect?
Why is that news?
Yeah.
Are you wondering why it's news that she won't shave her vagina, or you're wondering why Michael B. Jordan's reaction is? Maybe he's on the record in the past of having very strong thoughts about women's grooming habits.
It's kind of crazy, right? Like giving it, dissecting the movies, but none of the champions are worth a shit.
That was my thought about Drago. It was bugging me as I was watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did you? What else
I
did you want to
watched
talk about today?
The Commute. Have you seen that?
No, is that the one? That's that Liam Neeson movie, right? On the train?
So that's why I text you. I was like, dude, stop casting Liam Neeson as a tough guy.
What's
out of
your
your fucking mind?
What's your issue with Liam Neeson as a tough guy?
He ain't whooping no one's ass.
But
what? No, he's not a tough guy. I like him.
Did you see? You've seen Taken?
Of course.
Taken was amazing.
Man. I
the
know,
movie was fantastic.
but we're past that. You can't keep. That's like the first time he's ever been a tough guy.
No, it's not. He was in Rob Roy. He was in. Let me pull it up here. First of all, that is not true at all. He's been a
care,
tough guy.
Dude. Stop doing it.
He was in Excalibur, 1981.
That's not tough.
He was tough. He was a knight. How dare you, sir?
He's in the Gray. I enjoyed that.
He was in the Gray. That was awesome.
Oh, he was in the A-Team.
Yeah, he was in the A-Team. The remake that was terrible. I'm not going to give him no points. Award you no points and may God have mercy on his soul. What else has he got in here? He was in Battleship. That was terrible. Wrath of the Titans and Clash as Zeus. Those weren't good.
Let's start over. He was in Krull.
Yes, he was in Krull. That's fantastic.
All right. That's a younger version, dude. That's 83.
K-19, The Widowmaker, Gangs of New York. Come on.
All right. He was
a Jedi.
He was the priest.
Rob Roy.
No, the Jedi's lame.
Darkman. Dude, he was Darkman. Next to kin.
Yeah, but we're past that. We're past that time. He's in love. Hey, he's in Love Actually. I love that movie. Softer Side of Ryan. Softer Side of the Warrior.
That is a good movie. But that speech from Taken, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, that's 2008. We're done with it, though.
That was 10 years ago. Okay, so who are you casting in his place now?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, God, I'm so over fucking Tom Hardy.
What?
I am. I'm over him. The Bane voice did me in, man.
Really?
Oh, I couldn't stand it. Am I going to talk like this all movie, Batman?
Okay, I'm gonna put in Gerard Butler then.
He's past his prime too. He looks
Gerard Butler's
haggard. Got to be 50
Den
something.
of Thieves. I just watched Den of Thieves.
He's 49 years old. This isn't Sparta anymore. This is
Does
retirement.
it have to be a British guy?
It doesn't have to be a British guy.
Why are you making it like it has to be a British guy for this?
How old is Christopher Walken? He's been playing badasses forever.
Yeah, but that's badass, like a badass gangster. Like they ain't actually getting in a physical altercation.
Yeah, but there's not that much physical. I guess there is a lot of physical altercation.
Yeah,
but
he's like physically fighting someone.
I think
so
it
who you're
going to
cast in Taken? You're gonna cast Matt Damon for it. That's what you're gonna do.
That's just making another Bourne movie.
I don't give a fuck. You asked me what I wanted. I told you.
I want to see Christopher Walken in that role. I think that would be my favorite thing ever. Is Christopher Walken in the Taken
old
movie.
as shit.
Just old as shit.
You were bitching about Harrison Ford not being able to throw hands anymore.
I don't know what you want.
I think it'd be better if you cast the Mountain. the Mountain as a Taken guy, because then they're like, he's like kind of like trying to talk to him, and he's got like the thick accent, and they're like, okay, whatever, and then he shows up, and they're like, oh shit, this motherfucker really does have a set of skills.
So you're taking the ageist point of view that old fellas can't whip that ass anymore.
No,
unless no old fella. What's your age limit? When do people stop whipping that ass?
When you have an 80% chance or above of breaking your hip during an altercation.
Well, what if so what is that for you? So Sean Connery played a badass well into his later years. Look at him in The Rock.
You could have Daniel Craig do it.
I got a problem with Daniel Craig in that I think it was that movie Cowboys and Aliens that did it to me. I watched Cowboy and Aliens and the whole time.
It's hard to watch that movie.
Well, it is. It's hard to watch that movie because what I realized is that ever since that one Bond movie where, I think it was the first Daniel Craig Bond movie where he was super yoked and he was wearing the little Speedo thing and he came out and everybody was like, oh my God, James Bond is yoked.
Like total dime piece, right?
Yeah, ever since that movie, he's lost weight. He's gotten skinnier, and so by the time Cowboys and Aliens came out, his face was so sunken in and gaunt. He looked like he just looked weird to me. He looked creepy.
Did you call him up and tell him that, or what? You're just gonna talk behind his back?
I'm on Mr. Craig. If you download this podcast, eat a cheeseburger. Just get a cheeseburger. Get on the cycle on. Put some bulk back on.
Cycle up, dude. Why not? Get that fucking good shit.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Get that movie star shit, and then give me some fucking speech about how you did this shit in 2 weeks.
All right. So
you got some chicken diet.
How many more years does The Rock have? He's 46. How many more action movie years does The Rock have before he has
20?
He has to do Copland.
He got 20.
You think he's
got 20?
He can go to 60?
Well, he can go like he could push it to 70 like Arnie, because he's a beast. He's a beast, dude. He's a big motherfucker.
He is a big motherfucker.
He's athletic. I don't think Liam Nelson's athletic at all.
Nah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, dude. Maybe I just got beef for a reason.
I think you're just making up beef with Liam Neeson for no good reason. And first,
Well, shit, man.
is this dick envy? Because he's world renowned for having a tremendous penis.
Is he really?
I don't remember who made the joke. I'm not going to Google that shit because Lord knows what comes up. But my understanding is that was a running joke for a long time, was that he was a well-endowed man.
That is fucking. If he's got a big old hog, then I take it back, man.
Hold on.
He can join. He can be on team Big Dick Bandit just like me.
Well, so I Googled Liam Neeson's dick. I don't know why.
Oh my god.
And this is the top entry. I'm not going to click the images tab, but I am going to stick on the all tab. And it's 9 famous people you didn't know had Mondo dongs. I really appreciate the usage of terminology there.
Mondo dongs. Oh my god.
Yeah. So
it's just like a giant hog.
Yeah. Liam Neeson's pecker was so immense it looked like a water bottle. That's according to Janice Dickinson, the model.
Oh my god.
James Woods, Willem Dafoe is confusingly large. That's creepy. Your move, Spider-Man. That's super creepy.
And he just like whips it out. It's like, whoa.
God. Anyway, my point is that it's entirely possible that Liam Neeson's confidence is bolstered because every time he takes a leak, he goes, "Yep." Just refills his confidence. I'm a little down today. I didn't have a good day on this set. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Unzip. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I feel better about myself.
Flump.
Yeah. Oh, the ground's cold.
Yeah, okay, all right. So, maybe he's all right guy then.
I don't know.
He's got a big hog. I'll give him some credit.
Could be.
I mean,
what else were we talking about today besides the celebrities with the largest genitalia
on the planet?
On the planet. We were talking about most patriotic 80s movies.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this all kind of flows together.
It does.
What was on your list? You brought up the topic. What was your most patriotic 80s movie?
Die Hard.
Die Hard?
Yeah.
As the most patriotic 80s movie?
Dude, we're sticking it to the fucking Nazis, man. The
No, we're not.
goddamn Germans. Yes, they are. They're fucking German terrorists.
They're Germans, but they're not
I know, but
Nazis.
you get what I'm saying. I like it. It's America.
It's America. You're going to take that over, say, Red Dawn, where the Russians actually invade. Born on the 4th of July.
No, I don't like
Rambo.
That movie. Top Gun.
Top Gun. Top Gun's got to be at the top of the list.
Top Gun's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's got to be way up there, right? Rocky 4. If you
hell
can change, then I, that's super patriotic. What else? Glory. God, what an amazing film that is. Do you remember that one?
No, I've never seen that
Denzel
movie.
wins an Academy Award for Best Supporting.
I don't like the way that what's his name's mustache looks on the cover, so I never was going to turn that on. Matthew
Iron
Broderick.
Eagle.
Iron Eagle's dope.
The Right Stuff. Come on. America's Mercury astronauts.
What about Firehawks?
No, it wasn't Firehawk.
Not Firehawk, it's
Firefox.
No.
Firefox.
No. This isn't. It's
Yeah, 80s plane movie.
No, it's the movie with the helicopters in it.
Firefox is a jet fighter movie. It's a Clint Eastwood movie from 1982. By the way, have you seen the internet blew its fucking mind when the Skyscraper trailer came out and there's the scene where The Rock jumps off the end of a crane across a gap to an open, blown out window on a building, and people started measuring the speed at which he would have to run, the distance he'd have to jump, the arc that he would have to get it, and they mathematically went this isn't possible. I feel like they've jumped the shark here.
I just saw that jump. It's like the very beginning.
Yeah, it's silly.
What is he? So he's got like a fake leg.
Yeah, he's got a fake leg. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Not in real life. He's not.
I know. I don't want to harp on anything.
He didn't hack the leg off for the role. He didn't do that. Do you know who Ronnie Lott is? You got me that card, right? You remember who Ronnie Lott is?
Of course.
Ronnie Lott with the legendary story. He's got to be the most badass athlete imaginable. And for those who don't know, Ronnie Lott was a free safety for the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s, early 90s, and I think he retired with the Raiders. And he was world renowned for his hitting ability, but here in the Bay Area, he was sort of legendary. He was one of those people who was on the field during those Montana Rice heydays.
So he is one. If you're curious, he is one of the characters in Techno Bowl where you can make him fumble if you use Ronnie Lott.
Yeah. So here's how badass this dude Ronnie Lott was. He had his finger smashed in between two helmets in a football game, and after the game, he goes and gets it looked at by the doctors, and they say, geez, we're going to have to rebuild it, reconstructive surgery. And he didn't want to spend the time that it would take to have the reconstructive surgery and then rehab it and then get it working again. So we just had him cut the fucking thing off. Just cut it off. I don't need that finger.
That kind of reminds me of the scene in The Best of the Best when he's just like, pop it back in. When he has to like pop his shoulder back in.
Sorta, yeah. Here's a quote from him. After he gets it done, I was trying to laugh it off, but I felt sick. He told the AP in 1986 of first seeing the nub. Toughest man alive. Just stud. Can you imagine being in the a UFC fighter? So I consider sort of the UFC MMA fighters right now to be the pinnacle of badassery in modern sport.
For sure.
I think that they are the amount of
modern day
punishment.
Gladiators. I mean,
yeah, modern day gladiators, absolutely. And can you imagine a fighter, not even somebody who's just got world renowned hitting power, just a knockout artist, like a Francis Ngannou, break in that last fight against Stipe, just shatters his pinky, and he wants to fight again in 6 months, but they're gonna have to rebuild his pinky finger, and it's gonna take a year, but it'll take you 2 months if we just chop that fucking thing off. And he's like, chop it off.
Yeah, but I'm cutting that bitch off. I'm joining the triad.
Yeah, that's what he's got. That's what.
Yeah, get that pinky off. Joining the triad.
Yeah,
let's fucking go.
That's crazy sauce. Crazy sauce.
I can't. It's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, that's another one of those ones where I guess you could cut your ring finger off, join the Assassins, the Assassin's Creed. That was part of that game. Just lopping your ring finger off.
Wow, that seems like a useful finger.
It does, but that's where the blade comes out, is a little gap that you leave behind when you lop your ring finger off. What a shitty fucking movie that was. I was so mad.
I didn't see it.
As soon as I saw the trailer and they had the actor whose name completely slips my mind because it made me so mad, guy who played Magneto. See him in a machine walking around connected to a big robot instead of laying on
the
bench
bed
with the bed like in the game. I have this beef with video game movies where video game story directors write this thing down. They say, okay, we're going to spend 80 hours developing this story in cutscenes and gameplay, and here's the concept, and here's how it goes. They write a novel. They write a full fucking novel. And the movie director gets a hold of it and goes, they don't know how to tell a story.
That's exactly what I just said. He's like, yeah, I can fucking do this better than you.
Oh, God.
It's like, dude, if I'm the guy who has the game, like, I'd be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to fucking beat your ass at the movie premiere. I would fucking whoop that ass. I was like, you fucking took this thing and turned it into a total piece of shit. You're an idiot. They never know better. Never. No. And Michael Fassbender's who was in that movie. Which is a little silly because it takes place in it should take place in ancient Sumeria, I think. Anyway, that just pisses me off. Whoa.
What are you woeing? What are you woeing?
Holy shit, I just found the Cobra Law team on a fucking card back sealed in the bubble. Are you just I'm sitting here podcasting and you're cruising eBay for action figures? I'm cruising eBay for G.I. Joes. Yeah, dude, it's $350. I'm thinking about it. Okay, I would like you to purchase that. That would be great. I think that would be hilarious. It's fucking amazing. I like the figures open. Though. I had Globulus. So did I. That's the big snake tail, right? The rubbery snake tail. Yeah, I like Nemesis Enforcer. What's the guy's name? The other one, the little buzz guy. Oh, Pythona though. Pythona's not included in there, which is Nemesis weird. Enforcer. That's the one who Sergeant Slaughter fights in the movie, right? He fucks up Sergeant Slaughter first. Yeah. I don't know. So we discussed about collecting GI Joes and how that's gonna happen. Yeah. So yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about UFC 224. Yeah. Just a little bit. Can we talk about that fucking weight debacle? 7 pounds. For a girl that was weighing Mackenzie Dern, those of you that don't know, she is the best women's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner that's existed on the planet. She's the best. And so she's 5-0, 6-0.
Yeah, and she weighed it. She came in 7 pounds heavy.
Yeah, she's cutting weight to 115. I mean, like, how fucking much could you have weighed?
Well, and she looks like a fucking twig, and she's still 7 pounds over.
She's 6-0. And they're so smart with these people, right? They're just hand feeding her. They're feeding her a girl who's 3-3, who looks the part, Amanda Cooper.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's like, what are her losses? Armbar, barba choke, and rear naked choke. That's her losses.
So Amanda Cooper tweets out earlier today, not shocked at Mackenzie Dern, missed weight, but 7.5 pounds over is a disgrace to all professionals. She's not getting out of this fight that easy. Fight is still on. ABC Nation, get ready. ABC Amanda Bobby Cooper.
I like
UFC
that, man.
224,
You got to root for Amanda in that one.
Strawweight versus flyweight tomorrow night in Brazil.
Oh, my God. Did she say that? No, she didn't.
She did.
She's a fucking dude. She just, oh, my God. You can't call her a stud. What's the female version of a stud?
I don't know. Well, the female version of a stud is Amanda Nunes in the main event tomorrow night. Talk about a fucking badass. I'm really looking forward to that fight. The girl she's fighting, Raquel Pennington.
Peter.
It's an interesting fight. It's a fight measuring progress.
No, that's not it. I'm thinking of someone different. It's Kat Zingano beat.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm thinking Raquel Pennington beat.
She already beat Raquel
Misha
Pennington.
Tate. She beat Misha. She beat Besh Correa. She lost to Holly Holm.
Is the fucking Dennis Seaver. Is the Dennis Seaver of the female division.
Yeah, what I like about that division though right now is that because that was the first women's division in the UFC, every fight is also a measure of progress in regards to where the level has come up since this became a real focus of the sport. Starting going back to Ronda dominating left to right, and then now Holly Holm stepped up, and then Amanda Nunes stepped up, and Amanda Nunes is just an animal, just an incredibly good fighter.
So they said if she beats Raquel Pennington, then she's gonna fight Cyborg.
You think so?
It'll be the UFC said we're making the fight Amanda versus Cyborg.
All right, that's a good fight. I'd want to see it.
So that's because Amanda is fights at 135, right? So she fights at 136, so she cuts weight. But Cyborg cuts weight too.
Yeah.
So Cyborg's probably around 160-ish. She might be more than that. She's a beast, man.
Yeah.
Much respect to her. She's a badass.
It's an interesting fight for sure. I think I would definitely.
Well, someone like Raquel ain't gonna fight Cyborg. Amanda's the only one, so they really need her to win.
Yeah.
Next fight is Jacare Souza versus Kevin Gastelum. I think Gastelum's gonna win. I like Jacare, but I just don't think he's got it in him. He's taken some losses.
He's got that. He's Liam Neeson, man. He might be past his prime.
He's so fucking good. He's 38.
Yeah, but 38's a different.
Have you ever seen him do the crocodile thing when he wins? He gets real low on the ground and he walks like a crocodile and he does the crocodile mouth. It's fucking awesome. It's one of the coolest celebrations. It's not a dick thing. It's just cool. I think Gastelum knocks him out and gets in line for a title shot next.
I think age plays a big role there. I think you get to that certain point where it's. I always think back, even though it's a different era and a different style of fighting. I always think back to Chuck Liddell and who was just his face was made of iron for the longest time, and then he just hit a certain age and just looked like he was getting
knocked out by everybody.
Yeah, you flicked him in the chin and he fell over. So I think I don't know if that's at some point you take enough shots to the head that you can't take him anymore. I think it's going to be an interesting.
Here's
fight,
the deal, though. 30 professional fights isn't anything. Like for being one of the old school fighters, like Overeem has something like 65.
Yeah,
of those old school guys had tons and tons of fights. Look at Alexei Olenek on the card, the seventh fight on the card. He's 55-11.
Yeah, but I'm saying for every one of those, so it all depends on your training camp too. How many sparring sessions? How long for these older fighters? I look at 30 professional fights and I start thinking about how many times he's gone hard sparring in training camp.
Well, so that's thinking back to the old shoot-to-box style with all those guys at Vanderlei's camp when they would just fucking knock each other out. I mean, they'd like have a fight coming up in like a week and they'd knock each other out. It's like ridiculous. Shogun and all them. So I'm gonna take. I hope that Amanda wins. She's not gonna win, but I hope she.
You don't think so? I'm gonna take Amanda to defend. I'm gonna take Gaslam.
Okay, so I'll take Mackenzie, and I'll bet you a GI Joe.
All right, I'm down for that. Because I'm gonna take ABC in that fight.
Okay, I'll take Mackenzie. Who you got? You got Amanda in the first one.
Yeah, I got Amanda in the first one. I'm gonna take Gaslam in the second.
Same.
I'm gonna take ABC.
Who do you got over Vitor or Machado?
That's a really crazy fight too, man. I don't remember what happened. Leo to Machida's last fight. I don't remember. Hold on.
He won a split decision versus Eric Anders. He lost 3 in a row before that.
That's right.
Well, Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, and Derek Brunson. So he got smashed by Yoel Romero.
Yeah,
got
TKO,
knocked out by
TKO,
Brunson.
submission. Yeah. So, and Vitor, this is
He
another
was
one of
knocked
those.
out by Gaslam, I believe. No, he beat Nate Marquardt. That's right. That was a battle of the old bin.
Yeah, I think I want to take Machida. I think it doesn't.
Well,
neither one of them feels good. I'm gonna say that.
So who do you got?
I'm gonna take Leo to Machida.
That's who I think is gonna win too. All right, so the GI Joe battle's on. Mackenzie
All
versus ABC.
ABC coming through. I keep losing bets to you.
Yeah, but you never pay up.
I know if I do lose this bet, not only will I get you a GI Joe, but I will send you your shirt.
Nice.
Finally,
Nice.
After all these years.
I don't know. You probably should keep it, frame it. I might have to sign it someday.
It's basically framed behind me. It's
I know.
Sitting in a window.
Dude, did you watch that show I told you? Did you watch the Operation Odessa?
No, of course not. I don't watch the things that you tell me to watch, mostly because you tell me to watch them.
Well, I just think that you should watch it.
I like to spite you.
I know you do that. That's like that's why I only message you on WhatsApp so I can see those blue check marks.
You just want to make sure that I've responded to you.
Right, because I know that you've seen it.
Well, yeah, and I'll leave your shit on red. I will leave it on red.
I know you do that. You try to fuck with Chan. No one fucks with Chan. Don't try to fuck on me.
Yeah.
Dude, I got my coffee cup, by the way. My Phyllis Room Full of Uppercut coffee cup. It's legit.
How'd the cup turn out?
The cup's really good. The shirt's really good.
Nice.
Both of them.
Nice. And I think that idea that we came up with just now of doing a G.I. Joe card, the what do they had a name.
Cardback.
Well, the cardback.
No. It's called something.
Yeah, they have their own name.
It's like a profile or something.
Yeah, dossier, something like that.
So it says like this guy, designated marksman. Code name is Crosshair.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
back,
those.
It's what is it? I can't read it. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I'll just
called.
take one. I'll mimic it. I think it'll be slick. I think it'll be fun.
We have to put yourself on there too.
I will. I'll make one for me too, and then we can have another contest about who people like better on a T-shirt. And I'm gonna put inside that picture. It's gonna be Puppet Ryan.
Puppet Ryan steals the show again.
Puppet Ryan. Too funny. I think I've lost every bet we've ever had.
That's not true.
I think so. I think I should stop betting with you.
Well, I'm very good at this.
Yeah. Well, I don't get into arguments online that I don't know I'll win. I don't argue with people over stuff that I don't have a lot of research and fact-based stuff into it, which is really frustrating for people when they get into arguments with me, because all of a sudden I just drop a deuce on their head, a 2-pounder.
2-pounder, like a good, like a hometown buffet. Just I went to town on it and then just dropped a deuce.
Yeah, or Chipotle. I pulled over at a roadside Chipotle. By the way, I got lots of good feedback on your Chipotle. The people who I talked to who listen to the podcast, they both, 4 or 5 people, they all said that's a really good method. I should definitely try that. In regards to.
I had a couple of guys tell me the same thing. They're like, "Man, you really broke that down like a science." They said because the best thing on the menu is the tacos. And I was like, "Yep, that's it." And you can eat it a whole bunch of times then.
Yeah, you get to keep going. That's good, man. That's real good. Yeah, we all like that. That's super good. What else was on our list today?
We had a whole bunch of stuff, but we were kind of keeping this one short.
Yeah.
We got to tell everyone we did a 13 and a slice earlier. We kind of pre-recorded that, but
yeah. It's gonna take me a little while to edit that down, and we'll see if it gets pulled off YouTube when I do. But it should be kind of fun.
It won't. Just don't monetize it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's 35 years old, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give it a whirl though.
Yeah.
We'll bring back the puppet for that one.
So we recorded. We both watched the very first episode of G.I. Joe. So it's season 1, episode 1. Was it the Cobra Strikes?
The Cobra. It's G.I. Joe. No, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero.
Yeah, the Cobra Strikes. That's what it's called.
That's the first episode.
Yeah, and so this is about the Mass Effect machine.
Right. This is the first of a 5-part miniseries. God, do you remember as a kid? I don't know if you watched as a kid, like on TV when they were airing, but I remember I would come home from school, it'd be Monday afternoon, and the first of a 5-parter would be on, and I'd be so stoked. Arise, Serpentor, Arise, or the Mass Effect, or those would come on. I'd just be like, yes.
And then it wouldn't play the next one.
They always played the next. Those weeks for me were the best weeks, television childhood weeks I had.
No, I'm saying like right in a row though. But
no. The next day, because it was on at 3:30 or 4 p.m. on some channel. So I'd come home and watch it, and then the next day it would be on at 3:34. So
I told you when we were working together the first time, I was like, dude, I just like realized that those shows were all made to go in series. My ADD was so bad. I paid attention, but I wasn't paying that much attention, I guess.
Yeah, the Cobra Strikes. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, in watching that back this morning, I don't think I realized that I'm surprised how well it held up and how well it doesn't, both at the same time. How violent it is, and yet I still feel completely willing to watch that with my kids.
Oh, absolutely, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna show my kids that. I showed Cairo the opening to G.I. Joe the movie, and he did that weird walking through the room and then looked up at the television and then just stopped mid-step, 1 foot in the air, and just got sucked in, and I went, yes. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, tell me more.
Ooh, bring it on. So he responded well, I thought, to that particular show.
It's such a classic show from our childhood, right? I mean, remember the first time that I tell you what, one of the shows that I remember starting that, I was so excited when it started. Actually, 2 of them. One of them was Darkwing Duck. I was fucking jacked when that came out.
Darkwing Duck, yes.
That was crazy.
The crossover,
cool.
The crossover for DuckTales.
Yeah.
Because you had Launchpad McQuack.
Absolutely. And then that one was really good. But the one that really sets itself apart is probably one of the best series ever is Batman the Animated Series.
Oh God, that show is incredible. Incredible. Wow. They did not for a second talk down to the audience. They gave you the stories. It was fun animation. The fight scenes were cool. They didn't shrink away from tackling hard topics, death and destruction. It was what an incredibly good show, and it is the show that gave us the best voiced Joker of all time, Mark Hamill, as the Joker. It was so good, so good.
There's an episode in there called I can't remember what it is. Something about the metal one where the guy's making the robots. And I was watching it, and I was like, wait a second. He is the toy maker in Blade Runner. It's the same guy does the voice acting for the character, and he looks the same.
I'll catch that stuff all the time where I'm watching a movie and all of a sudden I go, oh, that's so and so. Or do you ever watch that show Gargoyles, that cartoon?
Yeah, I like that one.
I think most of that cast were ex-Star Trek: The Next Generation actors.
Yes, that's true.
It was watching that one. All of a sudden, it was, hey, is that? I think that's Riker, and I think that's Troy, and I think Keith David was in that show.
Yes,
good old Keith David.
Yeah, you dirty motherfucker.
Yeah, Keith David.
So check this out. Let's see if you like this one. So this is a bit of an obscure one. Okay. This was one of my favorites. Stunt dogs.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So stunt dogs would come on, and it'd always be like, stunt dogs. And there's some like famous director. He's like, I can't remember his goddamn name.
I want you to sing me the whole theme song.
I don't know it.
How did you feel about? Do you remember Mask?
I liked Mask.
Mask was good. Mask was real good.
I mean, there's like no information on this show, but I have like animation cells from it and stuff like that, which is crazy because there was only one season and it was like unpopular, I guess.
Stunt Dogs cartoon. I must know
DAWGS.
Oh, geez. Stunt Dog. Google knows everything. Stunt Dogs is an animated comedic adventure series about a team of stunt performers and their bulldog named Human, who also solve problems heroically. How high did you have to be to come up with the concept of this show?
Oh, high as fuck, man.
Dude, what should we name the dog? Fucking call him Human.
Well, you know what's crazy is it's kind of like rock and roll wrestling, how they have like the little vehicles and they're going back and forth, and the bad guys are always like trying to direct like a movie.
The stunt dogs are named Needham, Splat, Sizzle, Skid, and Crash, and they are opposed by the stunt scabs named Richard P. Fungus. Yes, Ish Army, Dick Fungus.
That's what they call him.
Airball, Bad Year, Half a Mind, Lucky, and WizVid. Sometimes Wiz Kid, but apparently his name is WizVid.
Right.
They named their character Dick Fungus.
Yep. He's named after a famous director or something like that. What's his name?
His name was Dick Fungus. Famous director, Dick Fungus. I just want to say it one more time.
Allegedly a parody of director Peter Bogdanovich.
Just for your grandma.
Who is this guy?
Dick
Peter Bogdanovich.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. What movies did he make?
A
Serbian-American director, critic, and film historian.
So here's my assignment. I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but my assignment for the Ish Army is one of my favorite. I don't know why this popped in my head. We're thinking about 80s action movies again. We talk about it a lot. And Liam Neeson and Krull. It popped into my head. And some of the silliness is it. I've told you about the dive roll, right?
The what?
The dive roll. The worst dive roll in movie history.
Oh yeah, in Krull.
In Krull. And I would love it if.
Can you give him the minutes? What minute is it?
I would hope to. It's so incredibly bad. So let me set it up for you a little bit. So they're going. The Krull is this. There's a castle, and they're going to this castle to fight this bad guy, and he's got the spinning blade thingy, and
he's traps.
He's trapped. So he infiltrates the team, the group, the posse, infiltrate the castle, and the main character is working his way through the castle, and they get kind of pinned down, and people are shooting, and it's going to be trapped, and their one-eyed Cyclops friend is there, and they get pinned down in a hallway that looks like it's a series of weird pillars, and they've all got swords, which is kind of odd because the bad guy has
an axe or something.
Yeah, he's got the guy I'm talking about has an axe, a big Thor-like axe.
Yep.
And the bad guys all have guns that shoot lasers against these fellas with swords, and so the bad guys, who look like really awful 80s space villains with overly high collars and round helmets, so they all run away down the hallway from these bad guys, and he's like, come on, you gotta come. And there's this really dramatic moment where he's pinned up against the thing, and he's got to make a decision.
It's the fucking best role ever.
Breathing hard, he's got to make a decision. He's going to try to escape and run down this hall. And for our Ish people, this is at 1:37, an hour and 37 minutes into the Krull, the movie Krull. It's on YouTube.
It's
Krull,
the greatest role ever.
Search for Krull 1983. He sits there, he steels himself as he's waiting for his opportunity to just dive off from his perch where he's got cover into the hallway and run down the hallway. And what he ends up doing is what I would describe it as a glorified somersault, where he rolls, lands flat on his ass after the roll. And so no momentum to keep him back to his feet. He didn't roll and get up and keep going. He rolls. He lands flat-assed on the ground, then has to stand up like his knees and his hips hurt before realizing he still has to run away from the alien bad guys.
Like he got halfway through it.
He just bailed out. He bails out. This is a kindergarten playground somersault at 137, people, 137 and a half, give or take, if you're really looking for it. First of all, he tries to do the somersault while using the bottom of the hilt of the axe as his ground contact point, which he doesn't have the arm strength to give himself the lift to get the full role.
If you can find a better role or equivalent, we'll get
I'll
you
buy
a prize.
you a G.I. Joe. I will buy whomever finds a better, sillier role than that in a movie that's supposed to be serious. Thank you very much. I will buy them a G.I. Joe too. It's so bad. It's so unintentionally hilarious. It is, and for me, it is quintessential 80s
goodness.
It's goodness, but I was going to say just ignorance about what could and couldn't be done. Someone did that. They filmed that scene, and in the editing room went, yep, that was badass.
Yeah.
That was totally badass. I get those decisions. I do. Here's the decisions that I don't get is when you see something like that now, when you see a movie now where you have to stop and think to yourself, okay, someone wrote this idea down and then went into a room, presumably with other people, and said to those people, I have an idea for a movie. And they told them that idea. And those people went, yeah, that's a great idea. We should get more people involved in making this movie. And then they get a bunch more people involved. And then someone writes a script.
Nobody says shit about the tuck and roll as it happens.
Nobody says anything as these movies keep getting further down the pipe in regards to getting made until finally it comes out in theaters. Somebody goes and sees this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen, and no one stopped in the entire multi-million-dollar, thousands of people process to say, hey, gosh, I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer, but does anybody think we're making just a real piece of shit here?
Like maybe a real steamy pile. So check this out, right? This is kind of on the same lines as I was at, I don't remember where I was at, some store with my wife was shopping around, and I found this hat, and I was just like, this is the fucking worst hat I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm 100% purchasing this. So to paint this story, it's like a RVCA hat or whatever one of those bro hats are, and it has on it like these clouds and shit in the background. There's like fucking lightning coming down, and there's like 3 or 4 horses running towards you. Okay,
like the from the Last Unicorn. Is that what you're describing? That's what I'm seeing in my head.
No, it's like this fucking like these clouds and shit, and there's like this smoke and lightning and shit back there like a storm, and these 4 horses are running towards you.
Maybe you should see The Last Unicorn.
Probably should. But I'm looking at this going, who the fuck is going to wear this goddamn stupid fucking hat?
And you went, me.
Somebody, no,
me,
I bought it and I bought it and sent it to my friend. He says it's the one hat to rule them all. It's like the Lord of the Rings of hats.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the whole time it's like the same thing. He goes in there and he's like, all right, guys, check it out. Shit. Woo! I got this idea. This shit's hot. This shit's fire. Okay, you ready for this? Check it out. All black hat. Boom, right? We got like a fucking wizard in the background and shit. Lightning going on. He's casting some kind of fucking spell. There's some colors. There's some different shit going on. And we got 4 fucking horses running up there. Yeah, buddy. 4 motherfucking horses. And everyone's just sitting there going, oh, man. That'll play through. I mean, like, what are they saying? Just whatever? Do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? People will buy shit.
That's why checks and balances are important, man. I was at a club thing last night, an art thing. It's called Art Mix here in Sacramento, where our local art gallery opens up and kind of
hipsters.
Yeah, total hipsters. But I happen to be one of those hipsters, and
Pabst Blue Ribbon on tap, bitches. Come on down, act ironic.
Known around the world for my collective ability to wear hats and scarves. I've been made fun of it, but I do it anyway. And there is a certain protocol to wearing certain hats. I'm not going to wear a stupid fucking Target fedora. That's silly. I would never do that.
You gotta have a nice one. You're gonna pull it off.
Yeah, you got to be able to pull it off. And so when I see other people going to events like this wearing hats, and you can tell they don't normally wear hats, it makes me nuts. So last night, see a guy wearing. I typically wear a pork pie. It's sort of my go-to hat. It's sort of my signature look. It's a pork pie. It's a type of fedora, but it's a turned up, rounded, short brim, rounded top.
Yeah.
No point at the top. Yeah, it's called a pork pie.
All right.
Heisenberg hat for those who are interested in comparative in recent pop culture.
Okay, there you go.
So that's the hat that I wear. I wear a real specific one that I've bought a few times as I've worn them out from a company called Bailey's of Hollywood. Shout out to those folks. They make a great hat. So when I see someone else wearing my style of hat, a pork pie, and you can tell they don't wear that hat normally because half the brim is turned down wrong. They've got it too low on their head, so their head's popping up through the top. just it makes me so sad. And I don't know if this is I think this is an elitist thing of me, and maybe it's a bald guy thing where I have an appreciation for wearing hat. Wearing a hat is it's not just something you put on your head. You can't just slap it on there and go. You got to have those kinds of hats in particular. It's got to have the right tilt.
Yeah, you certainly cannot have a fucking straight bill.
No straight bill. You can wear a straight bill, but it's got to be the right type of hat for that, right? There are certain instances where that's okay, but you got to know your limits.
That's never okay, but keep going.
No,
Pork pie.
I'll wear a straight brim hat. I got a really nice ASU hat that I'll wear with a straight brim with a little bit of tilt on the side. Depends on what I'm wearing.
Sir, you're way too old for a straight bill.
I disagree. I will straight bill that shit right into the ground.
All right.
You bury me in that straight bill.
I will.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up. Let's keep it short today, short and sweet, because we got the slice for earlier.
Because we got the slice coming out, everybody. The slice is fucking amazing.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna bring back the Ryan puppet, which also means I need to make a Merlin puppet.
Yeah, you gotta have your own puppet too.
I guess I will. The question that I have for myself is whether or not that Merlin puppet is going to be like a wizard with a beard or just a representation of me. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. I got to get the creative juices flowing. Mm-hmm. So, all right, man. Shout out to Transform Fitness as always, keeping my bills low on hosting and whatnot.
Absolutely.
How did it go this week at the gym?
It was hot. Some brutal workouts. She had us going through some crazy leg day workouts, just trying to build that booty.
Yeah, I saw. I'm not one to comment on another person's wife, so I will speak for someone else in my house who commented on your wife. She put a picture on Instagram, and Amy was like, "Damn, squats."
She's 2 weeks out from her show, from her bikini show. She's fucking jacked, but she looks like that all the time. She's just a little leaner now.
Yeah, she looks ready. She looks good. She looks exactly the way you want the person who owns the gym to look. You want to show up and be like, "What do you got?" Oh yeah. You'll do that to me? Yeah, sign me up.
Oh, cool. The Incredible Hulk works here. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Wonder Woman.
Yep.
So that's good.
Hey, she can throw a fucking spear too.
She can.
We went to we did this Spartan run, and she just like fucking hurled that spear. I was like, damn.
Did she do it with a rebel yell, just a fierce battle cry?
Yeah, she did.
That's
it was
amazing.
pretty impressive. But it was like Walking Dead. Like she should be like a Walking Dead. It wasn't because you don't have your phones.
Oh yeah, good point.
It's a pain in the ass to like try to bring it, but we should have done like she could have done like a Walking Dead extra, just fucking spear like 12 of them with it.
Yeah, I'm down. I'd watch Nikki do that. If you haven't been, check out sevenishthings.com. You'll find our merch page, all our merch, including those Transform Fitness leggings, if that is your style or need of clothing that you want. They're pretty hot.
Yeah.
And all proceeds go to keeping this podcast going. If you enjoy it, please share it with your friends. We always need to grow the Ish Army. We like doing it, so as long as we have listeners out there who like it, we'll keep doing it. So please share it. Feel free. We're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever your podcast can be found. What else you got, Ryan? Anything else? Or are we done?
No, we're done. This is the Wizard and Warrior signing out.
All right. Cool. Over.